All righty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come in, just make sure you're muted, please. And I am going to share my screen. I am so excited you're here. We're going to get right to the information so you know exactly what is required to have 100K year. All righty. So if I can get another thumbs up that you see my screen here, I'm going to put it in presenter mode. It looks like you should be able to see it from my end. Oh, great. Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, very good. Okay, so welcome to the 100K Blueprint. It is the masterclass for you to create the business of your dreams. So here's the agenda, how we're going to roll today. We'll go into a brief intro so you can understand the benefits of putting this work into action so you can create that dream business. We're going to get into the 4 steps, which are the strategies and mindset, which we'll get into a little bit more. You'll hear success stories along the way. At the very end, I will have a special offer for you to work one-to-one with me. And you'll get a special bonus with that. So stay tuned to the end. And of course, we'll have a Q&A section. However, I don't want you to keep your burning questions secret to yourself. So there's 2 ways you can actually ask questions right now. And the first is just using the chat. You can drop a question into the chat, and you can also drop a question into the Q&A. And you can actually practice that right now by just telling me where you're from, or even better, let me know what you're hoping to get out of today, and I will cycle through the chat. I like to pause and let you integrate some information as we work through here. So I will cycle through and make sure what you want to get out of today's workshop, that you're getting what you came for, because I know your time is valuable and I know you're busy. So you can drop any questions, comments, what you want to get out of today in the chat or the Q&A box. So if this sounds familiar, you want to hit consistent 10K months, but either you find yourself teaching 10 plus yoga classes a week to pay the bills, or maybe you're working for a job as a physical therapist or as a healthcare provider, and you're kind of stuck in a mill situation where you're having to see people every 20 minutes or multiple people all at the same time. If you're spending a lot, but you're it's not quite fulfilling your soul, or you're starting to feel burnout, you're not sure how to maximize bringing in more clients into your own business without overworking, without working more, either teaching classes or picking up more hours in your job. You're kind of dabbling in entrepreneurship in the fact that you really want to do it, but you're spending time on social media, but you're not really seeing clients coming out of that social media effort. Or maybe you're dabbling in social media itself. You're afraid to spend the time in social media because you're not sure that clients will actually want to work with you or book with you off social media. um, you're feeling kind of stretched in your schedule, and you're worried, okay, if I have more clients, does that mean I'm going to have to start sacrificing my wellness practices? So sometimes we unconsciously sabotage or energetically close the doors to our business because we're afraid to take on more business, thinking that it'll be at the cost of our personal life or our own wellness practices. Or maybe you feel like you're all in, you're gung ho, and you're showing up on social media, or maybe you're going to networking events in your community, and you're like, I'm really not standing out from all the other providers doing similar work that I'm doing. Maybe it's a yoga teacher, and there's like a ton of vinyasa yoga teachers, or a physical therapist, and you're like, yeah, there's another clinic down the road. I'm not really sure how I can stand out, or a health coach online. Like there's a cajillion health coaches. How can you stand out so people want to work with you specifically? So you're in the right place. We're going to go over what to do to hit that 6-figure practice, how to have a fully booked practice with time for your personal life. So it's not going to be at the cost of your wellness practices or precious time with your family. You're going to know how to get paying clients off your classes, off of workshops, off of social media, where you want to show up. I don't have a one size fits all strategy where I'm going to tell you go purchase Facebook ads, or go, you have to be on Instagram, or you have to do workshops. Because I work one on one with people, I create catered plans. You'll hear some of that here, right here, some ideas on how to get paying clients. And you've been toying with this idea. Maybe you have many multiple low ticket offers, whether they are classes, workshops, or you're selling one off sessions, and you really want to package it into a nice bow, a package with a bow on it, that is more of a high ticket offer, because you know that could be the key. It is sneak preview, but stick with me. I'll tell you how and why. To hitting those 10K months. And just so you know, 10K months, that's over an 100K business. 100K business equates to $8,000 months consistently for the year. So if you're hitting 10K months, which gives you a little bit more profit, a little bit more take home pay, then you're going to have over a 6-figure business. And it's just nice to say, I bring in consistent 5-figure months. So who am I? I'm Allison McLean. I'm a physical therapist. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a yoga therapist, actually, as well. Massage therapist of over 20 years and coach. So I've been in the wellness industry for over 20 years. My first private practice clinic was a massage clinic. I had my first office in a spa, but it was my own. I was an independent contractor, so it was my own business back when I was 23 years old. So I've been getting people to pay me money, cash, for 20 plus years. And I do have a podcast. If you aren't already subscribed, you can do that right now. It's Ignite Your Wellness Business podcast. So we're going to get into the problem here. France is, oh, Allison, so good to see you from France. I love that. So good to see you. Okay, so you are the problem, right? The big picture thing is that I see so many wellness entrepreneurs, whether you consider yourself a coach like Allison, a dating coach who is fabulous, must I say, or a physical therapist, or a health coach, or a massage therapist, a Reiki practitioner, a healer, a combination of all of the above. I tend to see wellness entrepreneurs collecting certifications and skill sets like it's their job. It is your job, but also is your job to have a fulfilling and rewarding and sustainable career from that. So it is possible to have that business that you want of hitting 10K months without missing precious moments in your personal life. And I find that there's this gap typically in knowledge of, okay, I have this dream. How do I achieve this dream? And this gap in the middle of entrepreneurs scared to really go all in. I hear all the time, I'm afraid to invest time in social media because how will I know it'll work? How will I know that I'll actually get paying clients off Instagram, for example? So you're scared to invest time and money into your business because you are afraid it won't work and you won't possibly get a return on your investment. So, following today, you're going to have more confidence in going all in, and know that we all make mistakes. We all fail as an entrepreneur. And it doesn't mean anything about you personally or your entrepreneurial skills personally, because I know 100% you can succeed. So the problem with, kind of dabbling and not going all in, or letting fear hold you back in different ways of, for example, not going, showing up on social media consistently, or not going networking events consistently, or not actually planning time to prepare for your consultations and review your consultations. The bigger problem of just relying on those multiple yoga classes a week, or relying on that job only, and kind of dabbling in the business, is that you'll continue overworking, and that can lead to burnout. And if you're not seeing results fast enough and you're overworking, then you sometimes doubt, okay, do I have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Do I have a viable business plan? Do I have a viable offer? Do I have a viable niche? And you kind of doubting all that. So then you switch your offers if they don't work immediately, you switch your niche, or worst case, you start to give up on your business. But and you could be so close. I can't tell you the clients that stick with it, and it'll kind of be like, oh, they're putting a lot of effort and time into their business, and they're starting to see progress, starting to see change. It hasn't quite yet manifested into large financial changes yet, but they stick with it and they keep going. Then all of a sudden, bam, the money and the clients start coming in consistently. But had they quit right before that part, they would have never seen that financial return. So you really have to stick with it. And the result of all of that is, or the solution really to preventing the overworking and the burnout, is having a business where you can work 30 to 35 hours a week with the revenue that you desire. I'm living proof of that. I've done that both in my brick and mortar practice as well as my online business coaching practice. So it doesn't matter if you're a in-person clinic or if you're an online practitioner. It can be done either way. You can have ample time for your personal life and hit those 10K months consistently. You have to have the confidence, however, and the belief that you have what it takes. When you have that confidence and belief in yourself as an entrepreneur, then you'll go out there and you'll take more risks. You'll show up on social media consistently because you believe that even if a post doesn't work out immediately or in 1 month, or you're not getting consults quite yet, you believe that one day you'll figure it out and clients will come, and that will help to keep you going. So then you can have that fully booked practice with the amount of clients that you want, with ample time with you in your life. So we're going to get to the actual 4 steps right now, the strategy. So I just want to tell you briefly my story. I had a brick and mortar physical therapy clinic where, when I first started that business, um, I did not plan to be an entrepreneur. Both my parents were entrepreneurs and they both overworked. I rarely saw them as a child, and I said, "Heck no! I have no desire to do that. If I have children, I want to be home with my kids." And I ended up having my daughter. And 3 months after returning back to work with my mentor, actually, my boss, I was let go of. She was selling her practice, and so I was running a satellite clinic for her, and the new owner wanted to shut down that satellite physical therapy clinic, so I was let go of. And that caused me to pause at that time and consider what I wanted to do for my future. And I could not imagine myself going to work for another mill physical therapy clinic, especially because, like, as you can see here, like, I specialize in the yoga wall. I've been massaging for over a decade at that point. I couldn't imagine giving up those skills to, like, be working with 3 to 5 patients at a time, which is what I did straight out of grad school. And so I told my husband, I was like, okay, give me a week. And within that week, I'm going to make a decision to try to find another ideal job, or I'm going to go off on my own. And during that time, I had my old patients. Some of them reached out to me and they're like, Allison, I don't want to drive way down south. Allison, I love you. Only you can do the skills that, I was working with you. I want to work with you. And at the end of that week, I already had 5 to 6 of my first patients booked. I just did it in an extra room at my house. And I didn't have plans to start a business, but by the end of that week, I had a real live business. So just know, A, it doesn't take a lot of time. B, what happened from that point on is, because I didn't have savings, because I wasn't planning on starting my business, I went into hustle mode. So I overworked. And that means, specifically, I was teaching yoga classes at 7 a.m. I would see some patients, teach another noon class often, see some more patients, and then Some nights I would teach a 7:30 or even an 8:30 yoga class, and I would get home at 9 or 10 and I wake up my daughter. And my husband was not too happy with that schedule, and we were all kind of cranky because we weren't getting enough sleep. So I learned very quickly that that was not going to work. And through some health challenges that I had, I told myself there has to be another way. I was getting more submersed in that time in the coaching world, in the online space. This is prior to the pandemic, so before it really blew up. And I was realizing, like, oh, they have a lot more systems in this online and coaching space, and none of them are overworking. And so, if they can do it, I can bring it into a brick and mortar physical therapy clinic because when I was going to masterminds at that time, everyone was overworking. It was just like the nature of the thing, like where people would walk around saying, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm doing this. I'm like a badge of honor. And I'm like, we're in the health and wellness industry. We shouldn't be not well this way. So I made it my mission to figure out how to run a business another day. And the good news is I did. So in the meantime, I've helped many wellness practitioners grow, sign everywhere from signing their very first clients. I had worked with many practitioners who came from having a job or deciding to go back into the workplace from being a stay-at-home mom, and sign their very first clients. I've also worked with several wellness entrepreneurs that have been in it for some time. So in just a minute, you'll hear Julie's story. She'd been in it for 17 years and have been stuck at the 2 to 4K revenue marks. Never being able to break past that 4K revenue mark. And I've helped them hit their first 100K year, hit their first 10K months. I also work with multiple six-figure wellness entrepreneurs. Justine's story, you'll hear about how she was doing very well in her brick and mortar physical therapy clinic and for women's health. But she was considering shutting it down because she was so burnt out. So I help with the multiple six-figure earner manage a team, become a confident CEO, establish systems in their business that are reproducible so that way they can have more time freedom and they do have a sustainable business and so they can scale to 500,000 in a year if they wanted, or I've worked with practitioners 700,000 plus. So wherever you are in your wellness entrepreneur journey, I can help you. So I'll tell Julie's story briefly, just to keep you inspired. So Julie, she's on the podcast. Any wellness entrepreneur I mention here, all their stories are on the podcast. So if you want to dial, hear it from their words, from their mouth, and get more details, then for sure head there. Just scroll through past episodes; they're all there. So Julie, as I said, she is a spiritual coach and she's a Reiki practitioner and she even led trainings, yet she couldn't break past the 2 to 4K months. Now, the thing with Julie is she tried everything, Facebook ads, live launches, many different offers. She had many offers and she was overworking. And so we cleaned up her business and streamlined her offers, got her confident behind her one offer. And she went out and soon enough blew past. She really wanted an 8K goal and blew past it and hit 10K. And here's the thing, working less hours because she had a streamlined business. Now, you see this QR code. If any of these stories, if any of these strategies that I teach you are, and you're like, yes, I need this now, book your call now. You can just book a free consultation with me and we'll talk about, you'll hear about my offer at the end and we'll decide if it's a good fit for you. But if your schedule's tight and you're particular on time, book your call sooner rather than later so you'll get more time options. Okay, so now we're going to get into the strategies here. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. So step one, often, as I hinted to, wellness entrepreneurs have many offers. So, for example, the yoga teacher having multiple classes that they're teaching a week. That's one low ticket offer. Teaching workshops, another low ticket offer. retreats, which is more of like a mid-range offer, but still another offer, one-off sessions, and then multiple different packages. So often the wellness entrepreneur, I'll take a coach, for example. Maybe they have a mini starter package of 6 weeks, and then they have the one-off session, and then they have the 3-month program, and then they have the 8-month program. And then some of the coaches also do retreats, or they have special VIP days. The point is, oh, and I forgot to mention the online courses, right? The online courses for like $297. The problem with this is that with all these different offers or memberships, you never know what you're marketing when. So, for example, I had a client, her name's Brenda. She came to me, and she is so skilled at what she did. But we worked together for 6 months, and it was month 6, one of our last weeks of working together. And still, offers that I never even heard or knew that she did was still coming out. Like at the last minute, she was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm leading a Reiki training this weekend." And the problem with that is it takes away from your audience really knowing exactly what you do and specialize in, so you're their go-to person for a specific solution, and b, they're confused by the amount of offers. They don't know which offer to choose and when. And then the other problem of this, from your perspective as a wellness entrepreneur, as the bullet 3 here, is that most of the wellness entrepreneurs I work with don't have a large enough audience to have the capacity to fill all those different offers completely. So what does that mean? It means that a workshop is not selling out. There's 5 people attending instead of 30. Or the online courses, there's 4 people attending instead of online courses, especially if it's a low ticket offer, tens of people, maybe even hundreds of people attending. Because if you have low ticket offers like one-off sessions and workshops, which can equate to a few $100s here or there, which is nothing to shake a stick at, but what the problem with that is, you find yourself working a lot, doing these one-off sessions, and sprinkled in with a workshop and maybe a retreat or a training. And then it comes to the end of the month, and you're like, I made $1,200 for all that work. And then you're thinking, well, like, how? I have no more time to give. I have no more energy to give. Like, how do I actually get to 10K? Like, how does that even happen? Right. And or the audience is maxed out because now they've bought your low ticket course. And if it's at like 297 a course, let me just even tell you what that equates to. So $10,000 divided by 297, it's about 35 clients you need to enroll a month consistently. And if you only have 200 people on your email list or 200 people following you on social media, you're going to burn through that list. And, the normal is like 1% of people actually take action. You're going to blow through your warm audience in 1 or 2 months. And then what? If you're not bringing in more people, you will max out. You won't hit those 10K months. So this is why you need to have your high ticket wellness offer. And that's one of the first things I do when I have my clients come to work with me. We create that high ticket wellness offer. So you can have an email list of 200 people or less, a social media following of 100 people or so, and you can still hit 10K months, because if you have an offer of $3,000 for 3 months, for example, you need a lot less people. You sign 3 people versus 35 people a month. So then, like Julie, you can work less to achieve more. And you're able to hit 100K with a small audience. So, for example, my client Lynn, she's a physical therapist for runners. When she first came to see me, she didn't have this high ticket wellness offer. In fact, she was selling mostly one-off sessions only, which is okay to start. right? I'll tell you another example in a moment of how it comes together with a high ticket wellness offer, but it wasn't leading to bigger packages. So she was selling one-off sessions, maybe a package of 3, and then she would never see those people again. She would have to bring in totally new people, and she was stuck at that 2 to 4K revenue month. We got her more confident in knowing, okay, what exactly am I going to do with people for 12 weeks? What is my high ticket offer? Okay, she wasn't comfortable at selling packages of 12 or a 3-month package right from that get go. She couldn't go from selling one off sessions to 12 sessions. Her confidence level wasn't there. And I'm not all about raising your prices or forcing you to do something where your nervous system's not there, because it's going to shut you down on consult calls. You're going to show up and you're going to be a weirdo and you'll get more no. So for Lynn, for example, we got her more confident at selling packages of 3 consistently. And then she bumped that up and started selling packages of 6 consistently. And that led to higher revenue months where she was less stuck at the 2 to 4K. Now she was 4 to 6K, and then 6 to 8K. And then I started getting texts. I just sold package of 12. I just sold package of 12. So you can ladder and work your way to this high ticket wellness offer, but you know the plan. You know the result of someone working with you for 12 sessions versus trying to cram in all your information in those 2 sessions or that one session right off a workshop where it leaves you exhausted and tired, because then you're always bringing in new people and fire hosing them with information and then trying to bring in the next person. It's not sustainable. And then Lynn just last year through that process hit her 100K a year. So if Lynn can do it, she's amazing, but so can you. So step number 2 is branding. Now, I just have to take a pause here. Let me know if any of this is resonating with you in the chat, if it makes sense, if you have any questions. And also, I want to let you know it's raining cats and dogs here in sunny San Diego. Like, I mean, really coming down. Have any of you watched the news? Okay. So it's happening live right now. And my power might go out. I just wanted to let you know that if it goes out, I'm teaching this again tomorrow, and I'll make sure tomorrow's replay you have access to as well. Worst case scenario, I'm hardwired in. So fortunately, hopefully it will not go out. This is only a worst case scenario. I just wanted to let you know, because this is kind of a unique situation here. And I am in a shed, which is leak free. But just in case the power does go out, there will be a replay, which you can get access to tomorrow. Thank you, Jenna. Yes, it's pouring, pouring. Yes, I know, Allison, you're used to more rain than us, but it is happening. So fortunately in my area, like my street, I should say specifically, we don't have flooding, but many of my neighbors are having some significant problems. So hearts go out to them. Okay, back on track though, 100K branding. What I see here is that online, there's a cajillion health coaches. There's a cajillion yoga teachers. There's a lot of different varieties of coaching. There are physical therapists now that are creating their own online programs in women's health. There's a lot of women's health online programs. And the problem is you're not standing out either in social media, if you're an online practitioner, or in your community. You're not getting known specifically for what you do. Now, when I say this, often people get confused of being like, okay, I have to have a niche. And that's not exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you aren't differentiating yourself in terms of your specific life experiences, like you heard my story, and your specific expertise. Now, I teach this 100K branding to my clients that I work with. But what this means is that when you know your experience, your personal life story, and your expertise, your certification, and you put those together and you start talking about that in your networking events in person, in your workshops in person, in your online social media posts, no one can replicate what you do because no one has your exact life story and no one has your exact experience. And that is the way to really differentiate yourself from all the rest of the people. Now, here's the other difference with this 100K brand. A lot of the wellness entrepreneurs, like when they first start working with me or are reaching out to me, or I see it on social media, is that, and this comes back to a little bit about what I was highlighting with the high ticket wellness offer, is that, as I mentioned, you have a wealth of information. So all kinds of different certifications and licenses. And you're thinking that you need a separate offer for each of those modalities, for each of those certifications. And again, that's confusing your audience. They don't know if they should see you for Reiki or for physical therapy. They don't know if they should see you for health coaching or yoga. So it's confusing them. So you need to combine the ethical high ticket wellness offer with your branding into a streamlined offer. And again, it doesn't have to be a narrowed down niche, because I have many practitioners that I work with. For example, Tiny, she started working with me when she was full time as a speech pathologist. She hadn't signed, I think maybe she had one or two like one off sessions of health coaching clients, but nothing consistent wellness offer. And she started, and her marketing plan, and she got out there and started differentiating. Oh, it says my interconnection's unstable. Am I okay? Give me a thumbs up. Sorry if I paused. Um, what do we got here? I'm okay. Cool. All right. So she got out there and realized that she does health coaching and yoga, and helps to reduce anxiety and heals people's gut health and a variety of different means modalities that she worked with. And she realized there's a lot of health coaches and yoga teachers out there doing similar work. However, she has some very specific functional tests that she uses, and we created a simple offer utilizing all her experience, where then she could get out there. And similar to Lynn, she began to ladder of first starting to sell six packages of 3, packages of 6, and now she too is selling packages of 12. But they're combining all her skills and all her certifications into one offer. And now she's working part-time as a speech pathologist and is actually saving to go full-time in her business, because she's hitting anywhere from 5 to 8K months. So can you imagine bringing in 8K months while you're working your job? What a difference in your lifestyle that can mean for you. So, whoops, I went backwards. I'm still going backwards. Okay. So when you are able to bring in your expertise and your life experiences combined with a very targeted and specific marketing plan for your strengths. So again, if you don't like social media, posting on Instagram every day is not going to be part of your unique, tailored marketing plan. And you're really clarifying what it is that you do. Oh, and again, with Tiny too, the thing that I wanted to bring up is that, as I highlighted, she does yoga, she does health coaching, she does functional testing, GI gut health. She does a lot of things. And yes, she talks about she niching herself, not so much as she's the health coach that works with um, women in menopause, like a very specific niche like that. She's actually quite general, but she niches herself based upon those expertise and modalities she does, as well as her own life story of overcoming anxiety and reducing her prescription medication. So she's able to niche herself through her 100K brand, not through having to pigeonhole herself in a very narrow niche before she's ready. Because some people may stay more general, and that's fine. There's many, many successful wellness entrepreneurs that have a general niche. And also, for a lot of my clients, the more clients they work with, sometimes the niche appears in terms of the clients that they attract, or the clients that they get results with easily, or the clients that they just love to work with. Then the niche appears over time, and it's not so forced. They're not having to pigeonhole themselves into a niche where they're not sure if it's going to work. And that helps preventing switching niches and offers, which is like starting over. Every time you switch your niche, every time you switch your offer, you have to re-educate your audience and resell them on what you're doing and why. So another example of this is actually Allison here. She when she first started working with me, she actually was a dating coach, and she was a newer dating coach, but she knew her niche. And I could tell right off the bat that her niche was in alignment to her. And she had some great stories of that, and she really excels there. So her niche was already in alignment. Some people it's not, and that's okay. You never have to force yourself to have a niche. Okay, so any questions on that? Because that is often a big controversial point, is narrowing down on the niche or not. I'll give another example. My client, Joe, when he first started working with me, he is a spiritual healer and practitioner. And he too was doing one-off sessions. We created his high ticket wellness offer. Again, started laddering and working. He is now selling packages of 12. But he and last month actually had his biggest revenue month. And but he too has a variety of different ways that he can support people. Sometimes he helps people overcome addictions, whether it's alcohol or substance abuse, in various ways. He's also a Reiki practitioner, so he helps to calm nervous systems, helps people to feel more relaxed in their day to day. So he's actually quite broad in the many different ways that he can help people. But through his marketing and his messaging, he is able to narrow it down. That's one thing I teach here with creating wellness clients on demand, is I teach you in your messaging that even though you might have a broad niche, or especially if you have a narrow niche, that every social media post that you write, every email that you write, every workshop that you teach is towards one person specifically. So often it's taught like, pick your client avatar, pick this one client avatar. And this is where I find a lot of wellness entrepreneurs get stuck, because they're like, well, I can't. Like, I have a client that is looking to lose weight, and I have another client who's looking to reduce her anxiety. I have another client who really needs help with pooping consistently. Um, so it's not that you have to um, negate all these clients, but you start to create some client avatars, that there's actually more than one, you have more than one to client avatar. So I actually teach my clients that they can have 3 to 5 specific client avatars. And then I teach them a pillar process, which highlights those expertise of all the different ways that they can help their clients. And then they have a very systematic way of writing that message or that post or creating that workshop for the one avatar. So every piece of content that you create is specifically targeted towards one person. Shay say, this is great info. I've always felt like being too specific would limit my client base, but it's good advice to hear. Yeah, so you can for sure be unique and stand out without having a niche. And some of that is done through your marketing and your messaging, where all your messaging, you're talking to one person, but then you're cycling through each of the avatars that you're talking to them. So one email, you might talk to that client that wants to lose weight, where another email, you might talk to that client that needs help with a urinary incontinence, for example. So, because like Justine, for example, she has the brick and mortar clinic. She also has an online program that is very successful. So sometimes in her emails, she's speaking to the online client and her fitness classes, and sometimes she's speaking to the client that needs to come to her clinic. So it's knowing who to talk to when. So when you don't have a repeatable process, to bring clients in on demand, then your marketing is kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall, where you're trying to combine all these different client avatars into one message. And then your message ends up being diluted and general, and it doesn't resonate with anyone. And that's the main reason why I see a lot of people's emails and social media posts, or even their workshops, aren't converting, because their calls to action and the main message is just way too general. It's not specific enough. Another reason why a lot of wellness entrepreneurs aren't able to have that repeatable and reliable process to bring in clients is they don't have a selling plan either. Like, if someone's coming to their workshop, they might just say, okay, if you want to work with me more, then come talk to me after class. But they don't know what to say quite there. It's kind of awkward conversation with a lot of people around. Maybe they offer consultations, but they don't offer it right there. Or the consultations, they don't have a plan of how to walk someone through the steps of understanding how what it is like to work with you. You don't have a clear consultation process. And or they also, with all this work, right, don't have a process to support the nervous system. So what do I mean by that? It means like, okay, you have a marketing plan and you actually like social media and want to be successful on social media, but every time you go to post on social media, you feel imposter syndrome. Um, or you're afraid to be visible. You know, people in your community might see you posting on social media and they might have thoughts about it. And they might even recognize you at Trader Joe's. Happens to me. It's kind of freaky at first, but then you get used to it. But you don't have a way to support your nervous system so that feels safe. So what happens is I hear the thought, well, I just don't have time for social media. I think I'll just pass it off to a marketing assistant. It's the time is not the problem. The problem is that you don't have a way to support your nervous system. So you feel that you don't have the time because your nervous system thinks that it's unsafe for you to show up. So it's going to prioritize everything else instead of actually carving out the time to show up and post on social media, for example. There's many different ways how um, your unconscious mind and past patterning can cause different facets of being an entrepreneur to be risky and feel unsafe. And again, that comes back to you pulling back in your business, not going all in because you don't feel confident that it'll be worth the risk, or you don't know that it'll be worth the risk, or you don't have a way to support yourself in regulating yourself so that you can show up consistently. So that's why I teach my clients. I just created a new Allison hasn't seen some of this stuff that I'm teaching. So I just created a new 30-day blitz. It's one of the first things you'll do when you come into my program is you'll get an exact protocol on how to create clients on demand. So you know exactly where to find your clients, what to say to them on social media. You have a process, a proven system that you know works. That so when you have that, you're more than likely to show up on social media. You're more likely to book that workshop and follow it through and make it happen. um, and you have a repeatable, reliable system that'll bring in clients without you, so you can build up those savings. So you don't have to be teaching a gazillion yoga classes. You don't have to be stuck in that job where it's a mill situation or a job that just doesn't fulfill your soul. And you can work with the clients, your clients, the way that you see fit. Okay, so that is step number 3, is making sure that you do have that reliable process, reliable system in your business to create clients on demand. So if you don't have that, start to think about that right now for a second for yourself. What would that mean to you? Like, what's your marketing plan? What's your selling plan? And now, as we get into sustainable growth here, do you have a plan for client retention? So you're not always having to go out and bring in new clients. You're re-signing those appropriate clients that are able and want to what re-sign with you. Do you have a plan that's simple and easy for them to do that? And then I'm going to get into more of the sustainable growth here, but I just want to make sure there's no questions, and I'm going to have a sip of water here. Okay, so step number 4 is most important because you can have all the systems and everything in place and your marketing plan, but you could end up like Justine, where you have a multiple six-figure business and you're not able to embody your own wellness practices. Justine felt like she was making a whole lot of money, but not taking very much home. And it was at the cost of missing her daughter's basketball games. And at that point, for the amount of money she was bringing home and how much she was working and missing out on her life, she was like, why am I doing this? And she loved what she does. She's a physical therapist for women's health, and she's really, really good. I know because I've actually experienced her work online. She's in Colorado. She's very, very good at what she does. So a sustainable business in both in the plan to keep you going into your first 100K and then beyond is so important. And some of that is tactical strategies, such as having a marketing plan to bring in the new clients, but also a plan to renew those appropriate clients, as well as what I see a lot of wellness entrepreneurs shy away from is the data, the numbers. For example, my client, Christina, when she first started working with me, she's amazing. She got fully booked within our first 3 months working together. She was a mobile physical therapist to start, and she was getting so many clients. Now, she was still doing one off sessions. So, again, you can be successful with that, but she knew her big picture goal of um, getting those clients to continue on with a specific plan of care. And she was building her confidence at selling bigger packages. But still, before she even got to the point where she was selling packages of 12 and so forth, she was giving enough clients that were renewing in those one off sessions that she was able to take on a lease, and she opened her own brick and mortar practice within just under 6. She did that, I think it was month 4 or 5 of us working together. So it can happen very quickly. But I remember right when she opened that, took on that lease, I think it was again month 4 or 5, she came to a call and I could tell that she was really stressed out. And I was like, what's going on? And she told me, she was like, I'm really freaking out over my lease. Like, this is a big expense. Like, I know we talked about it and everything, but now that she had the expense, she was freaking out about it. And I was like, okay, well, let's go over your profit of what you're bringing in. What revenue are you bringing in? And what are your expenses going out? Now, in the portal, I teach this. And she was like, yeah, I didn't do that this month. And I was like, okay, why not? And I found out it was because she was so afraid of looking at those numbers. Her nervous system, again, was kind of shutting down. And so she was really scared to do that. So we actually did it together on a call and come to find out that she was bringing in so much revenue that her expense was not a problem at all. And she was like so visibly relieved in one session. So it's knowing, like Lynn, for example, her number scenario was a little bit different. She came in, she had a number system from a different mastermind that was so complicated and took so much time that she didn't ever want to do, because she wanted to avoid looking at her numbers too. A lot of times, again, you need those. This is why you need those nervous system protocols, because we shame ourselves if we're not meeting our goals, or we judge ourselves, or we beat ourselves up. And then also, she just needed a simpler process. So we worked on both of those. And that is what allowed her to hit her 100K year, because now she could make better informed decisions based upon those numbers. So for sustainable growth, you need to know your numbers. Your business does need to be streamlined, and you need to have a plan again to support your nervous system for creating those boundaries in your business. Like, so for example, Justine, she had a team and, but she still was missing her daughter's basketball games. And so I had to figure out like, okay, what was going on there? Why is she overworking? What responsibility does her team need? And we needed to create confidence for her as a CEO to dictate responsibilities to her team. For me personally, when I had my brick and mortar clinic, I was overworking because I had so much fear that I wasn't going to be able to make it as an entrepreneur. So I was like hustling because I was very much in scarcity mindset. So you have to have, that's the benefit of having a coach, is that can help to catch that before you burn yourself out, before you overwork. And so that you know what to do. Like for me now, if, sometimes you can't eradicate old patterns completely, right? And it doesn't, you don't have to wait 20 years from now for you to be fully healed, for you to see results and change, especially when it's done in a day-to-day scenario. So I have my own processes and protocols, which I teach you guys on how to support yourself when you recognize if an old pattern, for me, anxiety and fear leading to scarcity mindset, comes back, wants to come back. And I can say, oh no, this is an old pattern. Like I'm going to do this and this instead. And here's how I'm going to process myself through this. There's some coaching tactics as well as some somatic practices that I teach my clients so that it doesn't become an energy leak, right? You're not ending your days exhausted. Instead, you're ending your days more fulfilled. Okay. So this is a lot of information all at one time. So if you have questions, you can start to drop them in the chat or the Q&A, but I'm just going to recap here because this is really these 4 steps. If you nail these in, that is how you can create 100K a year. So you have a streamlined, simple, high ticket wellness offer. Again, you don't have to go right out the gate and have a 3-month package or a 6-month package, but you know that is the end goal. And even if you're selling one-off sessions, it's working towards and really knowing the language to use on a consultation call. If someone says, okay, I just want to try one session, instead of trying to fire hose them with a whole bunch of information in that one session, you give a very real, realistic expectation of what the difference is of a one-off session versus working for 3 months. And you have a plan and languaging to walk them through renewal if they do want to take it in bite-size steps. You also have your 100K brand, which includes your ability to differentiate yourself based upon your expertise and your experiences. And both of those are wrapped into that high ticket wellness offer. And your 100K brand also shows up in your marketing. It shows up in your marketing. It shows up on your consultation calls. It's consistent throughout. And it also shows up in the actual programs that you're delivering to help ensure that your clients get those results. So it's combining all your expertise instead of trying to separate them into all these different low ticket offers, which ends up having you overwork and getting stuck at those lower revenue months. And plus, here's the thing too, when you have all those lower ticket offers, your clients don't have the ability to achieve those bigger results only because they've only worked with you for a shorter period of time. So the high ticket wellness offer allows your clients to get better results. So in the end, it serves them as well as it serves your business. And then, to make sure that your offer and your brand and your business is visible to the world, you need a process to create clients on demand, which includes a marketing plan. It includes a selling plan. It includes utilizing your strengths, something that feels in alignment with nervous system protocols to support you when you do want to do the scary things, new things, challenging things. So you create a success plan that works for you, that you can show up on any given day and be like, I want to create a client this week. and I'm going to go out and do this and this. And I know that's going to guarantee that a client will come. I have that success recipe now in my business, and it's what I rely on again and again. If I start to go into that anxiety or scarcity mindset, or I'm starting to look ahead and I'm like, okay, I have 3 clients that are up for renewal. I don't want to pressure them to renew. I want those that are appropriate to renew and ready to renew to renew. I have a process for that. But I also know that I can bring in new clients, so I'm not having to pressure them. So I'm going to start that process now so I can bring in some new clients, and those clients that do want to renew, renew. And I have a pretty high renewal rate. So the combination of that has led to higher consistent revenue months. So creating your success plan with a protocol that's repeatable and reliable to bring clients in on demand, as well as having a plan overall that's sustainable. So you're working within the working hours that you want to work. So, like Timey, for example, I said 30 to 35 hours a week. That's obviously full time in your business. But I have some clients that have jobs. So if it's 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe eventually you go full time, or you don't have to. Whatever works for you, but you have a sustainable schedule, that you're not just looking forward to the next phase of your business, that you're actually able to enjoy your business right now where it is with the schedule that you have. So then you can feel sufficient and take your time to grow your business at the pace that works for you, works for your family, and you feel fulfilled at the end of the day because you work with clients that you love, and then you go home and you can have dinner with your family. And so that's exactly where I am now. I work with some really amazing clients. I spend ample time with my family. I have ample time to care for my health and embody my own wellness practices. I feel really grateful to be in this space. And, I'm not a special snowflake. You can do it too. You have the ability, because I know you're skilled. I know you have the expertise and the ability right now, where you are right now, to hit those 10K months, working your ideal schedule. You have the ability to create that 100K brand where people see you on social media and they're like, I need to work with her specifically. I just had a consult call this morning and she was like, Allison, you are the person I need to work with, because I don't see anyone else offering these specific working one to one, helping with both mindset and the strategy. And she was like, okay, I'm a yes, this is for me. And when it comes together, you get clients saying that to you, and then you have a repeatable process to do it again and again in a very sustainable way. So then your brain sees, oh yeah, I can see how I can take it from 4K to 8K to 10K without being burnout. Like the path seems so much clearer. So here is your ability to start this work right now. If any of this piqued your interest, you can go to this QR. You can book a consult call with me to work one to one with me. Right now, I'm doing one to one. It's a 6-month program. And it's perfect for you if you want to hit your first 6 figures. With profit. If you have a job, if your time is limited, all you need is 1 to 2 hours a week, an hour to meet with me and an hour to implement. And then we figure out where the client goes. So if you're wanting to work with people the way that you have visioned, if you want to differentiate yourself in the marketplace without the overwhelm, without the confusion, if you want a plan, someone to guide you through, somewhere where you can show up on a call and say, like, I don't know what to do for marketing, or I know what to do for marketing, but I'm not doing it because I feel this and this way, and have someone to help you through this so you can create. I mean, we're only in the very beginning of February. So you have the whole year to make this year, 2024, the best year yet. So here is what is part of the 100K Awaken business coaching program one to one with me, is that you get 6 months of working with me to one, we have 3 to 4 calls a month. So now, when I say that, what does that mean? It means 20 calls over the 6 months period, because some months are you get 4 Tuesdays in a month, and some months you get five. So that allows you to have 1 week off a month of not meeting with me on a one-to-one Zoom call. And what you do instead is you're implementing the work. Or maybe you're doing work to support your nervous system, or you're going on vacation, or maybe your kid's home from six. It gives us buffer space to schedule and reschedule calls as needed, as well as time for you to implement. Now, I don't leave you on your own that week. You also get access to me via Slack in between calls, or email if that's what you prefer. I have a private Facebook group with my other one-to-one wellness entrepreneurs, so you can still have that sense of community. I have many wellness entrepreneurs. They'll drop like a registration page for a workshop and ask for feedback, or they'll drop an email in there or ask for feedback or share a win. Speaking of feedback, you also have the ability to submit 2 pieces of content for me for a month, or if it's a short one, I allow a piece of content a week to me, and I actually will go through it and give you feedback on that email. So you have a higher chance of getting more consultations, more paying clients off social media. And I also bring in bonus calls from expert speakers. So some examples of expert speakers are I had someone who went over Facebook ads. If you are about, I recommend not starting Facebook ads till you're over 100K. But if you're ready to do Facebook ads, you could attend her call. I brought in a copywriter so you could work on your messaging, so you know what to say in emails and posts. I also brought in EFT practitioners, so so you knew how to support your nervous system better. Yeah, no problem, Allison. I will talk to you soon. And if you're ready for a proven system, what is in the online portal, you get also access to an online portal and 2 workbooks, which I don't go through on the calls step by step by step. What I do is because it's one-to-one, I cater it to you. So if you want help with your marketing, if you already have your wellness offer, I look through it and make sure it's aligned with your audience, so the numbers are matching up for your revenue goal. And then we get right to developing the marketing plan. Or if you really want help with your messaging or your teaching pillars, what are your core pillars in your business? We go over that. Or if you have that aligned and you really help with consultations, then we start there. It's all catered for you. Because it's one-to-one. And in the first 30 days, the first module you see is that sign clients on demand 30-day blitz. So you have a repeatable process to bring clients in your business. So you can sign clients within those first 30 days of working with me, and have a process that you can repeat over and over again through the remaining 6 months, where we're working on refining. We're working on bringing in more conversions, for example, from your workshops or from your social media. So again, the ethical high ticket offer, we work on creating that offer. We go over the pillars that you're going to teach in the offer. We decide how long the offer is, who's the ideal client, who's it for, the avatars for this offer. We go over the promise. What's your tangible result in that offer? What's the length of time? Of course. What's the pricing? I get many clients that say, "Oh, I've been told to raise your price, but it doesn't feel right." So we work on having a price that works with your audience size. So hitting the 100K year is reasonable for where you are now. And um, the number of the revenue goal that works for you for a month with the audience size, so you don't burn through your audience before you hit that 100K year. Then module 2, again, as I was saying, is the marketing and the messaging framework. So if you're needing maybe you're writing your emails, or you want to start showing up on social media, but you're not quite sure what to say or how to write posts that actually convert so your time's worthwhile, We go over that. We develop the 100K brand. If you're a yoga teacher and you're teaching a lot of classes, you'll know exactly what to say when you go to a yoga class if you can't promote yourself. You'll know how to see, there's a whole lesson on how to seed your program and seed the fact that you work with clients outside of your yoga classes so you never have to promote yourself. I taught my client Kelly this. We went over to how to sell without selling, and she went to her very next yoga class and she got a consult right from that. And it was in a class that she taught that you can't promote yourself. So we go over that specifically. If you do consultations or discovery visits, we make sure those are worth your time. So you're having a conversion percentage of 60 or even better, 80% or more. So it's again a way that you can bring in more revenue. We did this with Julie. We really tightened up on our consultations. You can bring in more revenue without having to work more hours. So imagine if you had 5 consultations, let me get a better number, 4 consultations in 1 month, and you only closed one of them and your offer's $2,000. That's a $2,000 month. Okay, not so bad. But imagine if you were able to close 3 out of those 4 consultation calls. So now your conversion is at 80%. That's 6K revenue month without working any more hours because you honed in on the skill of getting a better conversion on your calls. And then the last module is all about sustainable growth. We go over schedule, how to create your ideal schedule, processes to work with your nervous system, also how to master your numbers, what numbers to track, and more in a very simple way. And if you're looking for extra support, so as I mentioned, I worked with entrepreneurs of variety different levels, whether they're just starting out and haven't made a dime yet, those that are wanting to hit their first 100K year, and those that are multiple 6 figures. So I have some special bonuses depending on where you are. Like if you want to start your email list for the first time, I have an Ignite Your Email framework. Like Justine, if you have a brick and mortar and you want to bring in an online program and do it in a successful way that doesn't take away from your brick and mortar business. This is the mistake that I see so many wellness entrepreneurs make, is that they bring in this online program and they don't know what to market. So either the online program doesn't sell out or their brick and mortar, their numbers start to drop down. So how to do that so they're both successful. And then also, many of my clients teach workshops. So I teach a workshop process. So you can go out there within the first 30 days, teach your first workshop and get your first few clients from that. I walk you through that step by step by step. Now, here's the special offer for joining today. If you join today and you book a consult call with me, you can just use that QR code right now. And you decide to work with me, so you have to have the consult book and say yes by Friday, February 16th, you're going to get a special bonus with me. This is only for my paying clients. I'm in the process of creating a brand new bonus module called Get Paying Clients Off Social Media. And I'm making some of these modules that I'm recording for this live with me. So you can show up. It'll be a small, intimate group, less than 10 people. So you can get your personal questions answered by me. We're going to go over how to optimize your bio. So if new followers come onto your bio on Instagram, for example, they know exactly what you do, who you help, and they have the clear next step on what to do to work with you. How to create 5 different types of stories that actually sell and convert your clients. How to direct message with clients without being slimy. Definitely, please do not copy and paste spam people. And also how to create that content, whether it be a reel or a carousel, how to have caption and content that actually converts. So your time showing up on social media is well worth it. And I love social media because A, it's free. And B, if you're busy, it can be done in small pockets of time. For those 15 to 20 minutes you have, like if you're going to go pick up your kid at practice and you're there 10 minutes early, you can hop on social media. It's part of my success recipes. I've signed many clients through social media where I can hop in there and start talking with someone or make a post and get a consult and get a client within a day, within 24 hours or 48 hours. So you'll get access to this live clinic with me, get paying clients off of social media if you book your call now and you do decide to work with me. So this Awaken program is 6 months long. The cost is 5,500 for the 6 months if you pay in full. I do have a payment plan, which is $1,000 a month. So 6 payments of $1,000, which many of my people, when we craft their high ticket wellness offer, they make that back within the first month, within the first couple months. And then we spend the rest of the time earning profit on that. My whole goal is to get you to be profitable from this program sooner rather than later. And $1,000 a month for the high ticket wellness offer, a lot of the times is one client a month, which if you have a full or a part-time job is so doable. And then you have a process to get you to six figures that's repeatable and it's reliable. You learn it and you get to do it again and again and again and just keep getting better at it. So, what questions do you have? I'll start to take questions now. What time is it? I know we're over time, so if you have to run, I totally understand. But since you're live, drop if you have questions on the 4 steps. If you have questions on the program, I would love to hear them now. You can pick my brain, so to speak, since you're live. And some people wrote in some questions, so I'm going to go over frequently asked questions. But if you have yours right now, we can get to those as well. Okay, so one question about the program I heard recently is, do I have to spend more money? Do I have to buy, and I just love this question, do I have to buy more specific software? Do I have to do Facebook ads? And the answer is no. I have clients like Timey who hits 8K months. She doesn't even have scheduling software. She has an email software system that she uses that's free. And then she just schedules all her sessions manually. So you definitely do not need to do ads 100%, and you really don't have to buy additional software. If we're talking and you want to have an email software system, you want to have a scheduling software system, I can make recommendations, but you for sure do not have to buy additional programs or software. What you get with me is perfect where you are. And so obviously a question is, okay, I've tried many programs in the past, like how is yours different? So often I hear from my clients that mine is different because both I give the strategy, like a specific marketing plan, with the mindset on how to actually show up and do the marketing plan feeling supported. So I make sure that because it is one-to-one, that it's very specific to you and your needs, where you're really struggling, where you're stuck. I can always hold the vision. I can see the vision for you for your 100K wellness business. We just focus on what is the obstacles standing away in that vision. So it's very catered to you. It's not a large program where you're going to get lost in the shuffle and just be a number being filtered through some cookie cutter process. So it's very different about that. I know that I hear many things. Actually, the consult call I had today, she was like, your cost is very reasonable. And it is. I think for the amount of value that you get working with me with the one-to-one calls, the portal, the workbooks, the messaging, all the things, I could definitely be charging a lot more. But I understand that it is still a significant investment. So it is important to me to ensure that you do get results. And I have specific ways where I'm tracking progress with people, um, where I'm making sure that you're on track. And if you're not on track, then we talk about it. We go over what's going on so you can be on track. And again, if you want to hear client testimonials, I have a lot of them on my website and on the podcast. I didn't mention Emily's story, who also got fully booked in 3 months. Go listen to her podcast because she has a really inspiring stories as well. How much time will this take? So I have some clients that, like, in terms of hitting your 100K year, in terms of getting fully booked, it's really an individual process depending on what you come to me with. Whether you come to me already with your offer, whether you come to me with an established audience, whether you come to me with a marketing plan, and how many pieces of the puzzle do you already have in place. But again, like Christina, like Emily, they got fully booked within 2 to 3 months of working with me. So it can happen really fast. My clients like Joe and Lynn and Timey, who you mentioned, they've been with me now for a few rounds, and every round they always see progress, and that is why they keep reinvesting with me, is because they continue to make their money back, and each time they reinvest, they get further. So Timey went from like no clients to 2 to 4K revenue months to 5K revenue months to being part time, and now 7 and 8K revenue months. Joe went from one off sessions to now selling packages of 12. Lynn went from one off sessions to now having her 100K year. So it really varies client to client, how long that'll take. When we meet on the consultation call, I can always give you a sense of time of how long, what is realistic for you in 6 months, so you have a sense of what is achievable. Now, in terms of how much will it take day by day, week by week, again, that is up to you. And if you are working a job, if you have a client, she had four children home, and they were varying ages, so they were all in school, but she still was responsible for making sure four kids got to school, got to all their practices and all the things. So it really depends on what's going on in your life. Again, as long as you're showing up to the call with me, you have an hour to implement some of the work during the week, and then we're able to schedule in client calls, or if you have an audience size big enough for a membership or an online program, you have time to market that. You can definitely be successful with less than 5 hours a week. 5 to 10 hours a week will get you even more. And if you're full time, then we can work out your ideal schedule. But that is really person to person. But it doesn't have to take hours and hours of just plugging away and hoping to see results. Every hour that you're going to spend in your business is going to have a specific tangible outcome that you're going to be looking for. So your time is always worthwhile spent. Um, will this work for me? Again, so some people have tried other programs and it hasn't worked for them. I often use whatever material they have brought from other programs as a stepping stone to get them to where they want to go now. So I always think that, and this is my personal belief, that every program that I invest in, even if maybe I didn't get the monetary results from, often there's other markers of progress. Like, for example, I invested with one of my coaches in my first round with her. I didn't get the revenue goals that I wanted. However, I worked way less hours. I went from working 7 in the morning till 7 at night, teaching yoga teacher trainings on weekends, leading workshops on weekends, to only working Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, something in that neighborhood. So a lot less hours, but I brought in the same revenue. That was a huge win for me. And then the next round, I doubled that revenue. So sometimes there's precursors to having those more, the clients that you want and the revenue that you want. So I always think that programs are well worth it if we can pick out those markers of progress and utilize what's working and then strengthen them, because that is often the precursor to having more clients and more money coming in. So that is how I do ensure that it will work for you no matter where you are. So that's what I've got for you today. If you have any additional questions here, I'll give you a last shot, or else I am going to sign off for today. The replay will be available, and I hope to see you on a consultation call and in the Awaken program. Okay, bye for now.